periodize your hustle. What endurance athletes know about avoiding burnout that creators don't. Elite athletes never train at max intensity every day. Here's how to build the same push and recover cycles into your creator business. No marathoner runs a personal best pace every single day of training. They break down in 3 weeks. Instead, endurance coaches build periodized training plans, a hard block that pushes the body past its comfort zone, followed by a deliberately easier block that lets it absorb the gains. Push, then recover, then push a little harder than before. It's the entire reason athletes can train for years without falling apart. Creators mostly do the opposite. We treat every week like race day, post daily, launch monthly, reply to every DM within the hour, and then wonder why the fall feels like running through wet cement. The fix isn't working harder, or ironically working less. It's borrowing the athlete's structure, alternating high-output blocks with planned lower-intensity blocks on purpose, before your calendar forces the break for you. Why just push through fails creators the same way it fails athletes? Sports scientists have a name for what happens when athletes skip recovery. Overtraining syndrome. Performance plateaus, then drops, even as effort stays constant. The athlete responds the only way that seems logical, training harder, which makes it worse. Sound familiar? It's the arc of creator burnout. Engagement dips, so you post more. Sales slow, so you launch again immediately. Each response is reasonable alone and disastrous in sequence, because the real problem was never effort. It was the missing recovery block that lets the previous push convert into results. Creators still treat burnout like a personal failing instead of a scheduling problem. The 3 blocks every training cycle and every content calendar needs. A classic periodized plan has 3 phases that map almost perfectly onto a creator's year. The build block is your highest output stretch, a product launch, a 30-day content sprint, a live cohort you're teaching. The peak block is short and sharp. Launch day, the webinar, the 48 hours a promotion runs. Then comes the part creators skip, the deload block. 1 to 2 weeks of intentionally reduced intensity where you maintain the business but don't create anything new. No athlete peaks twice in a row without a deload between. No creator should launch twice in a row without one either. The rule of thumb. For every 3-4 weeks of build and peak intensity, schedule 1 week of deload. That's roughly a 4:1 or 3:1 ratio, the same range strength coaches use for hypertrophy blocks. What a deload week actually looks like for a creator business. This is where the metaphor earns its keep. A deload week for a runner isn't zero activity. It's a shorter, easier run instead of a rest day, because total inactivity causes its own problems. Translate that directly. A creator deload week isn't a content blackout. It's a shift from creating to maintaining. You're not writing new posts or opening a new cart. You're doing the lighter touch tasks that keep revenue flowing on autopilot. Answering messages in your inbox, sending one warm email to past customers, checking which pro plan features you haven't turned on yet, or reviewing last block's analytics. The business stays open. You just stop treating every day like peak week. Turn off new content pressure. Resurface your best performing piece instead of creating something new. Reply to every message sitting in your store's built-in inbox. Send one low-effort, high-warmth email to past customers instead of a full campaign. Audit one discount code or bundle for next block instead of launching one now. Review last block's numbers and write down one thing to change. Block real, undisturbed hours off. An easy run, not a day off the calendar. Automate the deload so income doesn't crash when your output does. The single biggest reason creators can't stomach a deload week is fear that revenue stops the second they stop posting. That fear is legitimate if your storefront depends entirely on you manually processing every sale. But it doesn't have to. When a buyer pays through store.fan, delivery is instant and automatic. The ebook, template, or course access lands in their inbox the moment the card clears, whether you're mid-launch or mid-deload on a beach. Discount codes you set during a build block keep converting during a quiet one. And your customer list keeps growing whether or not you're watching it. None of that requires you to be on. If you haven't set that foundation up, that's the actual to-do for your next deload week, not a new launch. The athletes who last decades aren't the ones who never rest. They're the ones who rest on a schedule before their body demands it. Building your first periodized quarter. You don't need a sports scientist, just a calendar and an honest look at your last 12 weeks. Most creators, when they map it out, discover they've been in an unbroken build block since day one, which is exactly why it feels unsustainable. Here's a simple way to lay out the next 90 days. Mark your next launch as a 3-week build block, ending in a 2-4-day peak, launch day, cart close, live event. Immediately after, block 7 to 10 days as a deload. No new launches, maintenance tasks only. Use the deload to look at what's sold, which product, price point, traffic source. Adjust before the next build starts. Repeat the cycle 3 times, then take a longer deload, 10-14 days, as your off-season. Write the cycle into your calendar months in advance. The way a race sits on an athlete's calendar, not something decided week by week. If you don't yet have a storefront to build these cycles around, this is the moment to fix that. You can't periodize a business that doesn't exist. It takes minutes to create your store and start free, and every feature above, instant delivery, discount codes, the customer list, broadcast emails, is already built in, so deload weeks are protected from day one. To see it in practice first, check out a live example store. Signs you skipped the deload, and how to recover mid-cycle. Sometimes you don't catch the plan in time, and you're already 3 build blocks deep with no deload in sight. The signs look almost identical to overtraining. Content feels flat, despite posting more. Reply rates to your own emails are dropping. And tasks that used to take 20 minutes now take 2 hours because you're avoiding them. The fix isn't pushing to the next natural stopping point. That point keeps moving. Insert an unscheduled deload immediately, even a short one. Cancel the launch you were about to force. Lean on the automated delivery and discount tools already running, and take the lighter days you skipped. One overdue deload week costs far less than the burnout month that follows without it. The takeaway athletes already live by. Periodization isn't a productivity hack, it's an admission. Nobody, not even elite athletes with full-time recovery staff, can operate at peak intensity indefinitely. Creators run businesses solo, with no recovery staff at all, and yet many expect themselves to peak every week. Build the cycle on purpose. Push hard, peak, then genuinely back off. And let your storefront's automation carry the quiet weeks. That's how you get 5 years of sustainable income instead of 5 incredible months, followed by a burnout that takes the whole thing down. Key takeaways. Burnout isn't caused by hard work. It's caused by hard work with no scheduled recovery. Exactly like overtraining syndrome in athletes. Periodization means alternating 2 6-week build blocks, launches, content sprints, with shorter deload blocks, maintenance-only weeks, on a fixed calendar. Deload weeks are not vacations, they're lower intensity, still visible weeks that protect momentum while your energy resets. You can automate the boring parts of a deload week, delivery discounts, follow-up emails, so income doesn't dip while your output does. The creators who last 5 years, not 5 months, are the ones who planned their recovery instead of waiting to need it. Start your creator store, free, at store.fan.